Imagine a young prince spending his days drinking in taverns, joking with friends, and chasing adventure, and then growing up to lead his army to one of history's greatest victories. Henry of Monmouth was that prince. Contemporary accounts say he was an enthusiastic pleasure seeker, a diligent cultivator of lust in his youth. Shakespeare even shows Prince Henry partying with his friend Falstaff. But in 1413, this same Henry became King Henry V of England. He swapped his wild ways almost overnight, became a disciplined, determined leader. In the years that followed, he would rally his outnumbered army and achieve a legendary victory at the Battle of Agincourt against impossible odds. This is the story of the boy who became a warrior king. Henry was born on September 16, 1386 at Monmouth Castle in Wales. He was the eldest son of Henry Bolingbroke, later King Henry IV, and Mary de Bohun, and he had royal blood. His father was a grandson of King Edward III, but England's politics were unstable. In 1399, Henry's father marched to London, deposed his cousin King Richard II, and became King Henry IV. That made young Henry the heir to the throne and earned him the title Prince of Wales. As a teenager, he fought in his father's wars, gaining early military experience. He joined his father's armies on campaign, fighting Welsh rebels and clashing with Scots on the border, and proved himself brave in battle. King Henry IV died in March 1413 and his son became King Henry V. He was only 26 but already fearsome. Contemporaries said he was imposing in stature, with dark hair and a ruddy complexion. He cut a regal figure on the throne. The new King Henry V acted quickly to secure his kingdom. He showed clemency toward former enemies. For example, he reburied the deposed Richard II with honour and pardoned those who had rebelled against his father. But two plots in 1414, a Lollard uprising led by his friend Sir John Oldcastle, and a scheme to replace him with another Lancastrian claimant, were crushed decisively. With his throne now secure at home, Henry turned to his long-simmering claim in France. In the summer of 1415, Henry V launched his famous campaign in France. He sailed across the Channel with around 10,000 men, many of them archers. His first goal was the port town of Harfleur, which he besieged and captured after several weeks of fighting. The victory, though, was costly. Dysentery swept through his camp, killing roughly 1/3 of his men. Still, Henry pressed on toward Calais, hoping to avoid a pitched battle with the French on open ground. He could not sneak past the French army, however, and on October the 25th, 1415, St. Crispin's Day, Henry found himself facing the French at Agincourt. His army, weakened by sickness, numbered about 6,000, while the French force was many times larger. The English were tired and outnumbered, and the field was narrow and muddy. But Henry had a bold plan. He had his archers drive sharpened stakes into the ground to protect them, and he positioned his men in a tight line between wooded flanks. When the French cavalry finally charged, the English archers unleashed a hail of arrows. Horses panicked in the mud, and French knights trampled one another. Swords cut down those who reached the English lines, bodies piled up on the field, blocking the way forward. By the end of the day, King Charles's army was shattered, and Henry had done the impossible. Against all odds, Henry V won a stunning victory at the Battle of Agincourt. He rode his white horse among the carnage, rallying his men to keep fighting. One chronicler described the gruesome scene. The living fell on the dead, and others, falling on the living, were killed in turn. The French army was destroyed, with perhaps 6,000 French soldiers killed on the field. When the battle ended, Henry made a grim decision. He ordered the execution of his French prisoners. This brutal act shocked many, though Henry insisted it was necessary. England had won a victory for the ages, but at great cost. Back in England, Henry was hailed as a hero. Around 20,000 Londoners lined the streets to celebrate his return. They called him the Lord of England, Flower of the World, Soldier of Christ. England burst with pride at Agincourt. Even Welsh hearts swelled with a new sense of nationhood. Yet the war was far from over. Henry pressed on with a second campaign to press his advantage. The years after Agincourt were a mix of triumph and turmoil. Henry's forces swept through northern France, taking Normandy and capturing key cities like Caen and Rouen. In 1420, he forced the French to the negotiating table. Under the Treaty of Troyes, King Charles VI agreed that Henry V would inherit the French throne after Charles's death. Henry then sealed his grand achievement in marriage. He married Catherine of Valois, the young daughter of King Charles VI, in June 1420. Henry's marriage to Catherine would unite the English and French royal families. The wedding was held at Troyes Cathedral, and the French king famously walked his daughter down the aisle, effectively crowning Henry as heir to the French throne. In January 1421, Catherine was crowned Queen of England at Westminster Abbey, and in December 1421, she gave birth to their son, the future King Henry VI. For a moment it seemed Henry V had achieved his dreams. He was heir to both crowns and a father. But fate had a different plan. While laying siege to the town of Meaux in France in 1422, Henry fell ill with a deadly dysentery. The disease, often called the bloody flux, was brutal, and Henry's body could not fight it. He died on August 31st, 1422, just weeks before his 36th birthday. He was buried at Westminster Abbey. His infant son, only 9 months old, became Henry VI, with nobles acting as regents until the boy came of age. Henry V's life was filled with bold action and profound consequences. He was a party-loving youth who became a disciplined warrior king and won one of England's most significant victories. His story inspired pride. The triumph at Agincourt gave England a fierce sense of unity and even an early taste of nationalism. Yet his reign also showed the brutal cost of war. He was praised for his courage and piety, but historians also know the cruelty of his methods. His early death left a child king on the throne and set off decades of struggle. His life forces us to ask, was he a divinely chosen hero or just a ruthless conqueror? Historians debate it to this day. Whatever the answer, Henry V is remembered both as a model king and as a stark reminder of the price of war.